Thank you so much. What fun this is. Man, I've enjoyed my time. And I guess I have played a variety of roles in my career. But now I can add winemaker to the list. Not exactly a winemaker, but I do wear many hats as the brand owner. And my favorite one is this, court jester. That's the best. Everybody needs one. My winemaker is actually the talented Dan Wamfler here, and he's supporting with the hat the Fletch movie. I was in that with John Hamm. We've been working together for over 16 years, so it's a match made in heaven. As you may have surmised, we are a rather whimsical brand on the outside, but very serious about the wine on the inside. Sorry, what did I say? I am an East Sider. Okay, by that I mean I was born in and grew up actually in Yakima, which is in eastern Washington state. I spent a lot of time outdoors with my family doing these kind of things. And in the garden with my two brothers. Yes, that's me. What a handsome fella. We were actually free labor for our father for most of our youth. The Yakima Valley is called the fruit bowl of the nation, and growing up there, surrounded by agriculture, it gave me a deep appreciation for growing things and the cycles of the season. Fall and harvest time were my favorite, and they still are. Yakima is also referred to, somewhat regrettably, as the Palm Springs of Washington. Yeah, that's an eastern side Washington state joke. What is not a joke, actually, is that the climate on the east side of Washington is perfect for growing grapes. Now, you may ask, how is this possible? I mean, doesn't it rain all the time in Washington? Because most people think the entire state looks like this. You might recognize that. And as you may recall, is known for its spectacular and fragrant Douglas fir trees. I mean, who could blame you? Even the state's nickname is Evergreen. Washington, the Evergreen State. But in fact, the east side of the state looks more like this. Oh. Sorry, not quite that extreme. It's not a desert filled with rows of Fremen and spice. No, more like this. Yes, it has wheat fields, crop circles, and lots of sunshine. This is the Columbia Valley, and the dominant ecosystem here, yay, Columbia Valley, is called the shrub steppe, which is just a fancy word for a very dry place, not many trees. It's a low desert and has the heat necessary to ripen grapes, and I gotta say, an impressive diurnal shift. It's these long, cool nights that help create the beautiful vibrancy in the wines. And the vineyards are spectacular and really fun to walk through, trying to look cool and not trip and fall down, as I am demonstrating here. As a young man, I had developed an appreciation for wine. Actually, at my first meeting with David Lynch in 1983, I learned that he loved red wine as well. In fact, after my screen test for Dune, before I'd been cast, he sent me a bottle of Chateau Lynch Bage, my first taste of Bordeaux, as a reminder of our previous conversation, and I think as a pledge of what was to come. And here we are. Yeah. Me with dark hair, all fake. But it was 35 years later, and we're celebrating the screening of Twin Peaks: The Return at the Cannes Film Festival with a glass of his favorite Bordeaux. Thank you, Jean-Charles Caz. Wine had become my passion. Not only did I want to learn as much as I could, I wanted to share this journey with my father. And the best way, I reasoned, was to jump into production with people who knew what they were doing, to become an apprentice to the trade, so to speak. So that's what I did. Mr. Bear and I officially arrived in Walla Walla, Washington in 2005 with our first vintage of Pursued by Bear Cabernet Sauvignon. The journey hasn't always been easy. There have been disagreements. But at the end of the day, Mr. Bear and I, we have found our comfort level. We have matured and found integration and balance. And I'm involved in nearly every step, from the choice of vineyards, overseeing the harvest, fermentation, barrel selection. We use Taransos. These are some 600-liter Taransos for our small production Baby Bear Syrah. I do samples. I do pour-overs, as you can see from this very posed shot of me. Don't do so many pour-overs anymore, though. That's hard work. Blending trials. Oh, and that's my son, Callum, from a few years ago, giving me his notes. Yes, like to involve the whole family. Actually, you do know I'm kidding about the tasting notes, though, right? Okay, all right, good, okay. He is the inspiration for the name of my Syrah. You see, the first vintage of the Syrah was in 2008, which was the same year he was born, so naturally, I had bears in the system already. I called it Baby Bear. I'm proud to say he's 16, 6'4", and maturing nicely. Just to set the record straight, I've actually never been pursued by a bear. But it isn't just any ordinary name. It first appeared in William Shakespeare's play, The Winter's Tale, as a stage direction. In Act 3, Scene 3, a bear appears and chases the unfortunate actor off the stage. Exit, pursued by a bear. Sadly, the actor meets a grisly end. Very sorry. There'll be more. I just borrowed the phrase for the label of my flagship wine that you're drinking today. I did spend time, though, on stage with Shakespeare. I played Romeo twice, once at the main stage of the Oregon Shakespearean Festival on the right, and the other time at the Playmakers Repertory Theater in Chapel Hill. I've never done The Winter's Tale, though. I think I'd have a real shot at playing the bear. Look forward to that. Our label was created by Caroline Church, who lives just outside London. She captured my vision for a woodcut style and graphic, and if you look closely, I know that's a pretty small image. There are groundlings behind the bear that are enjoying the bear's somewhat unexpected appearance, hopefully as much as you're enjoying my somewhat unexpected appearance here today. Here are almost all the bears. As you can see, we haven't spent much time hibernating. It's been good. I mentioned my winemaker, Dan Wamfler, earlier. I am so fortunate to work with him. Not only is he an exceptional winemaker, he's one of the nicest people I know. He's the secret sauce behind Pursued by Bear. He also loves to wear the bear costume, which he always wants to take home. Frankly, I've had to discourage this behavior. Of all my roles, perhaps my favorite is pouring wine, having conversations with people around the country, spreading the good word of Washington State and what makes us so special. I also enjoy connecting with people at my tasting room in downtown Walla Walla. You're all invited. And spending time in the vineyard here at Lake Colleen with one of my growers, Brad Sorensen. There's my winemaker, Dan, and his wife, Amy, and somebody else you might recognize. Our fabulous host this afternoon, Tim Fish. You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say that. But do we look like we're hot here? No, we look cool as cucumbers. But it was really hot. Remember, I think it hit 107 that day on our drive over. Which reminds me, I have one last story to tell. So I think I'm remembering it correctly. I was in Beaver Creek. It was some kind of wine and food festival, and there was a copy of Wine Spectator in my hotel room. So I opened to the review section, and my name fell upon Pursued by Bear. My eyes fell upon the name Pursued by Bear. For a brief moment, I thought another winery had named their wine Pursued by Bear. Honest to God. And then just as quickly, I realized, holy smokes, that's my wine. It was a 2005 vintage of Pursued by Bear Cabernet Sauvignon, and it had a 91-point rating. I gotta tell you, I was overwhelmed. It was amazing. Of all the reviews I've ever gotten in my life, this is had the most impact. It was the one, I am here. I'm in Wine Spectator. I felt like I'd been accepted into the best club in the world. I was over the moon. Today, we don't have much time, but today we're tasting the most recent vintage, the 2021. It's the 17th vintage of this wine. It's 95 Cab, 5 Merlot. It's a low-yielding season, extended ripening. It's got depth, it's got elegance, complexity. It's approachable, it's lively, but I think it does really well in the cellar. And I think it showcases the best of what Washington State can do with Cabernet Sauvignon. So, anyway, thank you, Tim.